Hey, I can hear you, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Jim. I
Fantastic.
like your little
So,
show you have going on. And
well,
my
thanks.
Tuesday night hangout live is kind of the same deal. We're both talk show hosts.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Do you enjoy doing it?
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite day of the week. I look
No.
forward to it and I plan for it all throughout the week. I work on my guests. I have my gas booked out like 3 months ahead of time at the minimum, sometimes farther. It's great. I love it. I love my community, our community. It's not just mine, it's ours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So,
a lot
so
of people
you
put the lifestyle treasure
mm-hmm. So you actually schedule your guests ahead of time, is that right?
in it. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
months ahead of time.
Oh, really? Really? That's cool. That's cool. And I was going to go down that road too, but can you imagine how difficult that would be every night?
Yeah, well, I kind of like the feel of yours where it's like anyone out there, creator, not, whatever, listener.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it kind of reminds me of my open line Tuesdays. There's times where we deliberately don't have a guest, where we make our viewers, our subscribers, our friends, our guests, and they'll call in. We'll talk whatever they want to talk about. The gold they found, the coin they found, or bottle, or arrowhead, whatever their treasure may be. You know
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so cool. And how long have you been doing this? Sounds like you're in deep.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm in over my head, all right. Um, well, I've been prospecting and small scale mining for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started when I was living out in Washington State in Skagit Valley. Um, and I raised my kids. I've taken them up to my claims and stuff, and I dredged for gold. I started my YouTube channel, believe it or not, 8 years ago in '08. Um,
Wow.
but I didn't really get serious about building a brand and a channel. It started off to promote my action sporting goods store I used to have before the crash in '08. It was kind of the last thing oh, what's this YouTube thing? Maybe I could use it to promote my store. And then I'm like, well, okay, people don't have the money to play right now. So um, I kind of closed down my brick and mortar store and my internet store for snowboards and paintball. My bread and butter was woodland paintball and
Mm.
mill sim. Um,
Uh-huh.
but um, I'm a certified for Vermont safety snowboard tech and
Mm-hmm.
Tipman airsmith. Uh, but I can do repairs and wax and stuff, skis and snowboards and stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
was a head distributor for head skis and snowboards. And I liked all the perks, but I was working my construction career too to pay for
Mm-hmm.
starting to pay. After the crash in '08, I was working to pay for my store, which
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my store to make money like it was before the crash, and my contracting to make money too. And my son, my youngest, was watching my store while I was working. people didn't have the money after the crash. So I
Yeah.
went back to Washington State from Ohio, where I am now, to my mom just had her foot amputated. So I went back there
Oh.
to help her. I was there for like 9 months. And I
Uh-huh.
was in the mountains every chance I could, panning and prospecting. And I
Mm-hmm.
started making videos of that. And then one thing led to another. And a couple of years ago, if that, I'm going up in June will be my second year for my live show on Tuesday nights. But
Mm.
um, about 2.5 years ago, I started getting really serious into building my channel for the prospecting community. But it's sort of fingered off to more than that, since
Mm-hmm.
there's so much more to it than just gold prospecting. I refer to it as the hand, you know, treasure hunter's hand. You have like me, gold prospectors and stuff. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
metal detectorists, arrowhead hunters, bottle diggers, PV diggers, or privy diggers, outhouse diggers. They find
Mm-hmm.
an old 1700, 1800 outhouse, dig it out, find guns, bottles, whatnot. And
Yeah.
it's kind of turned into this own thing, and I refer to it a lot as we're a band of a hand. You know, and together we're strong, and we make a mighty fist. But if we're all going our separate ways, the weaker our community is when we're all in our pocket, really. And a lot of us are Second Amendment, freedom of speech, common sense thinking kind of people.
Yeah.
We're not these, oh, you hurt my feelings, don't say that. Oh, oh, masculinity toxic. Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
How familiar
no.
I am with that. So you obviously
You
saw that
say
show.
what we mean what you say. Oh, and if I hurt your feelings, well, sorry. Grill
Yeah.
us that.
Yeah. It's like you can't be responsible for the feelings. Am I right?
Right. That's I've always said, and looking back years ago, I tell my kids, this politically correct BS, it's actually gonna turn into where it's gonna steal our freedom of speech, and
Oh yeah.
everything's gonna be perverted and twisted out of it. And from what I'm seeing, it has.
Oh, yeah. I tend to agree with you. I absolutely tend to agree with you. It's I think there's more danger in that than possibly anything else that we talk about on the news. Whenever you start jacking with freedom of speech and putting severe limits on it that have nothing to do with literal violence or incitement to violence, then you've got a real problem on your hand, because you never know where it's going to stop. You never know.
No, you don't, because it could go all kinds of ways, bad ways, all sideways, and then
Oh yeah.
then you're
Yeah.
really SOL. And
Oh
if
yeah.
you like
Yeah.
the ones that are like, well, I'm not gonna help you fight it because they're bothering you. They're not bothering you. And eventually they're gonna bother them. And it's like, well, come help me now. Why? You weren't there
Yeah.
for us. You didn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a famous quote that I just thought about. Yeah, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. We could
That's
probably
right.
change that to good people do nothing, because there are a lot of people, there are a lot of women on both sides of the political spectrum, and there are a lot of women trying to do some good things, talking about free speech and really worried about it eroding away. So yeah, I mean that quote is absolutely true, and that the people don't recognize that, or the people that have not listened or learned from history, because this isn't the first time this crap's
And
happened.
history has a way of repeating itself if people don't learn from it, which
Yes,
is
yes, it
sad.
does. It really is. It really is. I blame the schools.
Well,
And I mean
definitely
that literally, actually.
indoctrination,
Yeah, yeah.
indoctrination, and for those, uh, well, we have some nights we get into politics and stuff in our show, but usually our show is about our guests, their channel, their whatever. And
Yeah.
but sometimes we touch in on it. And, there's only one way they're gonna take this last Sebastian of freedom in the world away from the world, and that's attack us from the inside. And the enemies of our republic, we're not a democracy, people, so we're a
Nope.
constitutional republic. And on both sides, all birds have two wings, a left and a right. Our federal government is more of a two-headed snake than anything else. And the way you control the people is dividing the people left and
Yes.
right. And
Yep.
and if you really look at the core of the federal government throughout all the administrations,
Oh,
they
sorry. I
they
went to your
give
page and your
little
trailer started playing. Sorry about that.
they all start doing this game, but I mean, so um, people ask me what party do I affiliate to. I would say I'm a conservative, but I refer to myself as a constitutional anarchist.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look at anarchy as chaos, destruction, the strong devouring the weak, when I would rather look at it as a volunteer, you for eons and eons, man lived on a volunteer basis, a barter
Mm-hmm.
basis. You do this for me, you have this skill set, I'll do this for you. I have this skill set, and um, if we go by the rules that creation have put in place, and you know, granted, there's gonna be those, you know, anarchy, no government might sound awesome, but there's the human factor. Just like on
Yeah.
paper, communism sounds great, socialism sounds great, but
On paper.
even in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, yeah, on paper, until people come into the picture, and those people want power and money, and next
Mm-hmm.
thing you know, they have enough money, so they want even more power, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So
Yep.
I,
Yep.
I would
Yep.
love a very little government, federal government, very little,
Mm-hmm.
to be there to protect our borders and to protect our Constitution, or to honor their vow to protect our Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would add to that.
unfortunately, on both spectrums, the the Liberal Party is no longer liberal; they're full blown Marxists, and
Yeah.
and the
That
Republican
is the.
Party isn't. A lot of them are rhinos. They're Republican by name only. They're
Yep. Yep.
globalists. I'm an American, buddy. I think the UN is an evil institution, and I look what happened to Babylon. We should have learned our lesson from Babylon. Uh, sure, it all sounds good. It's a small world, kumbaya and stuff, but it's gonna end up bad. And
Yeah, well,
I know
I'm
that
actually in
ain't
the same.
popular for most of the world nowadays, but
What's that?
I know uh, self sovereignty and nationalist isn't a popular thing nowadays, but hell, if we weren't so great, why do so many of those people from socialist countries want to come here? And
That's
they
true.
want to turn our country into a socialist country.
Absolutely. I would argue that I don't think nationalism has turned into a bad word. I think it's been bastardized. Right? Suddenly there's a whole sect of people that want to attribute nationalism to some sort of race, and of course that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, we're all Americans. I don't care what color, creed, religion, and all that sex, color, creed, religion. What are all the all? It's like the seven dirty words. But we should all be nationalists. I mean, that's how we protect our economy, our sovereignty, our protect our borders, which is what the Constitution allows the government. And I would add about the government that in addition to the two things you mentioned, they should also be able to uphold the rule of law. I mean, that should be one of their primary
Yes.
functions as it is in the Constitution. Yeah. So you and I are not too far apart on this at all. I wouldn't call myself an anarchist, more of a constitutional libertarian, but yeah, we're not too far off.
Well, yeah, constitutional libertarian would suit me too, but uh, just there's things about the Libertarian Party I don't really like either. You have
Yeah.
my background. I grew up in Southern California. I was a
Hmm.
rebellious surf and skate and beach bum. School and I did not mix. I fell through the cracks. Um, I ditched a lot, went to the school of surfing bikinis on the beach. Hell yeah. But um, all my lessons learned have been a lot by the hard way or looking at others' mistakes. And if I want to learn something, I learned it. I self taught myself. Um,
There's a hell of a lot to say about the School of Hard Knocks, my friend. A hell of a lot to say about it. More people should actually attend those classes instead of having people shelter
uh,
them from it.
Yeah, to be honest, I've met some pretty retarded, educated people with degrees in, oh, I got a master's in business and whatnot. Well, really, your degree ain't doing jack crap for you now on the common sense side.
So what do you think? What do you think of this whole Gillette debacle, where they're working very hard to emasculate our side of the sexist fence? Have you heard about that?
oh, oh, you touched
Oh yeah,
a little bit on that last night. But as you
yeah.
can
Because
see,
I
I got
devoted
a
a
lot of scruff. I don't really shave. I take my electric trimmer and I go. Zzz, 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 zzz.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Well,
I
I'm in the same boat.
prospected digging dirt for fun, and I'm in the construction for a living. So,
Yep, yep, yep. Well, we don't have to touch on that, but that's yet another problem I see in our country, and kind of a rabbit hole that we're going down that doesn't look pretty to me. Yeah, not only did I touch on it last night, but I think I did an entire show on it. I want to say Monday. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was one of my anger shows. I was really upset about it. And
oh,
of
I
course,
miss Mondays, so because Monday is really close to my Tuesday show, so
yeah,
I come
yeah.
home from 8, 9 hour days at work. I come home,
Mm-hmm.
sit in front of my 3 monitors and my computers, and I do my YouTube work and my website and all that because it's just me pretty much. Two of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
digging buddies are my co-hosts because they're my pals and my buds, and we dig
Mm-hmm.
together. It's hard to watch the screen when your screen's moving pretty good, your chat, and while you're
Oh
live
yeah.
to try and keep it all running smooth.
It
And
it most
so I'm
certainly
like,
is.
hey guys. So,
I know all too well. I'm really I still consider myself getting my feet wet, running the show. You know, from here, having me on camera. It's a whole different thing than actually doing it for clients, where I can just sit back and direct from afar. But when you've got to think of things to say and work all the knobs, and talk to the folks on chat, it can get pretty hectic.
yeah, I miss a lot. That's why um, I have a Vietnam veteran prospecting buddy, Toledo Jess. Um, he's by heritage he's Latino, but he's
Mm-hmm.
American through and through. And you'll never hear him say, I'm Mexican American.
Mm,
He'll say,
that's cool.
I'm American.
Yep, I saw that
Uh,
coming. That's cool, and that's the way it should be, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, he's a good man, trustworthy. And my other co-host is Dano. He's younger than Jesse's older than I. Dano's younger than I.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of span a nice little. We're about 5 years apart from each other up in
Oh, okay,
Vietnam.
okay.
But a lot of times I'm doing the video engineering and the sound engineering from my OBS and my stage right here, while
Mm-hmm.
Jesse's doing the bulk of the interviewing, and Dano is keeping a sharp eye on the live chat. And we've tried bullet points. I've even tried scripting a little,
Mm-hmm.
and um, nah,
Yeah, it's tough to do it, and
it
it can be
didn't
really tough to
really
do.
go well. I like to shoot from the hip, shoot from the hip and let it fly, and where it goes, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems to for us.
Yeah, well, sometimes that can arguably be a lot more fun, right? Because scripted is one thing, and scripted has its place. But man, sometimes when you just want a free flow, you just free flow. That's like nothing I do is scripted at all, except for maybe my pre-recorded, the trailers and that sort of thing. But no, I don't think I've ever done a show that was that had any sort of script at all. Maybe a quick outline, but that's about it. Oh, yeah, my Craigslist one. That was actually a pretty good video where I literally had bullet points that I covered, verbatim, because it was really important. There's a whole lot of
I
things to remember.
I I have I have and sometimes still do bullet points.
Do
Like
you?
out in my
That's actually
shed
probably.
when I do my do-it-yourself stuff, like where I did the banjo band video. Behind where my cameras are, I have a whiteboard with
Oh,
bullet
okay.
points on it.
Yep. Yep.
Couple three years ago, when I
Mm-hmm.
just started playing with chroma key and green screens and stuff, I used an off green bed sheet, and the chroma key on the program I was using was garbage and it looked bad. But I was doing a series on dowsing,
Mm.
and um, I actually, I think the first segment I had scripts, and it was like 10 sheets of paper, and I'd have one sheet taped to one tripod, and the next page taped to another tripod, and then it'd be like, okay, this scene, blah 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 blah. After rehearsal several times because you always screw up. At least I do. I am partially blonde, so
Hmm.
um, you do that, then read this one. Okay, cameras, change papers, and I was thinking about making a teleprompter, but
Mm-hmm.
even though I did go to Evelyn with speeding dynamics, I'm not the world's fastest reader. So, uh, and you do the oh shit.
Well, fortunately for you, you can actually change the speed on those. You can make
Yeah,
it go as
yeah.
slow as
I
you want to.
I I think on my tablet here, I might still have, or did I delete it?
What kind of
I had a couple of teleprompting um,
teleprompter apps? Mm-hmm.
apps, and I I think about it, but I don't think I'm quite there for it. I think I'll rehearse and have my bullet points for now, kind of keep
Yeah,
it
yeah.
more real.
No, I would
We have way
wholly
too
agree with
much
that.
Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
Um,
said in your
le-
chat room the other day, Hollywood or something like that. I think is what they can
yeah,
get you
they
hella
do. Yeah, they do come in handy, but boy, I tell you what, it can seem kind of robotic for some people, and I totally get
Well,
that.
you were
Totally get
saying you
that.
have a laptop in front of you that sometimes you use as your teleprompter, and not
Yeah,
during
it's
your
actually
live video.
no, 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 no. Yeah, I use it. It's actually an old Surface. I mean, like Gen 1 or 2. It's completely out of date, so it lends itself well for rough duty, just to be a teleprompter. And I actually made my own teleprompter. I think I covered that in one of my videos too, where I just made out a couple of 8 by 11 half frames and put some of the lightest tint I possibly could on the glass, so it gave it a mirror appearance, and then I would just boost my white level on the camera a bit. But I could lay that on the bottom part of that frame and tell it to play, and it would act just like a teleprompter. Well, fortunately for me, I found one that's a pro one from Guide Gear, I think it is, that normally retails for like 300 bucks, man. I got it on eBay for $100, and I thought, man, I'm going to get ripped off. There's no way they're going to sell that $300 teleprompter for 100 bucks. And I thought, or it's going to be crap, nothing like the pictures. It is absolutely perfect. I mean, it's like it's never been used. I got so lucky on that purchase,
No?
and it's helped me on yeah, it's helped me on a couple of shoots too, because I sometimes shoot clients, at their location. It's so ideal for people who are not camera ready.
Well, I still want to build one teleprompter. I'm kind of do it
Hmm.
yourselfy like that, and
Yeah,
I've
you
watched
can use like,
videos on it, and I know it has its
hmm
place. It's
oh
just
yeah, oh yeah.
me getting comfortable reading it and being fluid with reading it instead of me concentrating so much on it and seeing my eyeballs go.
You want to know a secret? Get your camera far away and zoom in on you. Then you won't see your eyes move. Well, you can only go as far as you can see the teleprompter, obviously, but the further away the camera and the
Right.
teleprompter are, the less likely you'll see the movement. And I know you've
See
got
my
visual
eyes.
issues, but yeah, yeah. So you'll just have to make the text larger, and it should work just fine. If you do the 8.5 by 11, then you've got a really large viewing area. Mine, this new one here is 8.5 by 11, but it's landscape instead of portrait. The one I made is portrait, and I did that because my eyes aren't the greatest either anymore. But that really was nice to have a big long, relatively long mirror. It was perfect. I loved it. but I had to go pro, man. You can't show up to a client's place of business with with a couple of picture frames. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. It's totally different, like in my basement studio. I mean, not my basement, my lovely studio. Then going to a client's place, setting up.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball of
I
wax.
definitely too amateur for that. It'd be like, are you kidding?
Well, I'm
But
still
yeah, I
interested.
can definitely understand.
Mm-hmm. I'm still interested in your treasure hunting. Now, do you pan for gold exclusively, or do you do any metal detecting or anything like that, or maybe that's the start of it? How does that work?
Um, well, I'm more or less a gold prospector,
Mm-hmm.
and I've owned metal detectors, quite a few throughout the years. I
Uh-huh.
have three now, and I use them. My grandson Colton, he's going on 8, and he loves detecting with me. Actually, I found my very first silver right there with my grandson.
Oh, let me get you full
It's
screen
a
here.
silver dot.
Oh, oh
It
yeah,
is,
yeah, very cool. Just came into focus too. Awesome.
yeah, it's a Roosevelt, but um, that I found in my backyard with my
Really?
grandson, and I take him prospecting with us sometimes and rock hounding. I got into gold prospecting because I always liked geology, earth science,
Mm-hmm.
how the earth works, minerals and whatnot.
Sure.
And I always enjoyed fossil collecting and rock collecting. And then I was watching Gold Fever with the Buzzard, George. He's dead now, but
Oh.
I'm having a brain fart on their last name. But they started the Gold Prospectors Association of America. George Massey,
Uh-huh.
the Buzzard. And it was after I left California. I moved from California to where I was born and raised to Washington
Mm-hmm.
State. And I was down visiting my foster brother. My parents were still living in Illinois. My brother was still living down in the Inland Empire of Southern California. My
Mm-hmm.
foster brother was in Illinois. I went down there. I was, I think I was painting my parents' house, but I was at my foster brother's house, and he's watching the show called Gold Fever. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I went back home to Washington, and I started digging into some of the mining history of the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to look where gold's been found before, which is the best place to start. Did my homework, make sure I'm not going on no one's claims, and uh, been doing it for the most part ever since. Back then, out west, I I had mining claims, and I was a lot more serious into it, and I had to pay more than I had to make off the gold was more than just my gas up to the mountain. I almost had to work it profitably.
Yeah,
Some
and I would
years were
imagine that
better.
there's yeah. I
Um,
would imagine, and I may be wrong on this, but I would think that the prospecting might even be a little bit better out west. Is that true, or do you find quite a bit here in the Midwest?
Actually, I don't do too bad.
Really?
I'm not making wages here. No,
Yeah,
not making
yeah.
wages. Um,
Lifestyles being what they
I,
are.
but I, the people I meet in the lifestyle I have is the true treasure. The gold's
Mm-hmm.
just like the icing on the cake. It's a
Yeah,
bonus.
yeah.
And I have to have that mindset while I'm here. If I was
Right.
to go back to like Arizona or California and to actually do the paperwork and the investment to file a claim, to have a claim, I would have to work it more serious. Um, so I'd have something more in return, or you go broke and um, but what I did back then, I didn't really make my money off the mining.
Uh-huh.
I would take people up to my claims. I would set them up on a high banker or a dredge.
Mm-hmm.
I teach them how to use it, and they kept all the gold they found. They had 2 square meals a day. They were responsible for their lunch, and they could have 1 day or 2 day packages for a set amount. And I worked through a guy, my friend Daryl Grimley, who owned Pastry Enterprises in Cedar Woolley, Washington. And I had a lot invested in the store. I was a silent partner.
Mm-hmm.
And we we collaborated together to do these excursions up to my planes. And I
Mm-hmm.
made more money on that than the gold I retrieved.
Mm.
Um, Due to one major reason, the environmentalists have done so many sue and settle tactics with fish and wildlife and somewhat back home, um, where some areas the dredging season is so limited, it's about impossible to get in there, do your work, and be out and have a profit. On my claims, we had platinum, we had gold, and very beautiful nephrite. It's a jade, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but um, we only had 1 month we could dredge, and
Mm.
that claim was like all bedrock canyon. You're like 70-degree cliffs, in
Wow.
this canyon, and um, we were trying to get to a bottom of a plunge hole on this waterfall. We never got there, but the gold was
Mm-hmm.
good the more we got down. But we never got to the bottom, and I know there's a pot of gold under there, but never got to it because we
Now,
only
see,
had a
that's
stinking month to work. And they said it was because of fish habitat. I'm working
really.
under a waterfall. At the bottom
Ah.
boundary of my claim, there's a 30-foot waterfall, and downriver from that, there's more and more waterfalls or downstream. There ain't no salmon gonna be jumping up those waterfalls to get where I got. What fish are there? They're always gonna stay there because if they go over the waterfall, I don't know if they make it.
Yeah. Well, see that right there. That right there is why I said the other night that that I want to treasure hunt and probably more metal detect than gold, panning for gold. But those stories right there, man, that's exactly why I want to do it. Because like I've said before, I
uh,
love being outdoors,
they're both great
and I
communities. And the
Mm-hmm.
YouTube treasure hunting community, I mean, metal detectorist community, they're awesome. Oh,
Really, pretty
so
tight bunch.
many creators out there are such great people, and they find the
Uh-huh.
most awesome treasures. The history they save from rotting away and being lost forever in the ground is phenomenal. And a lot
Yeah.
of them, like I keep referring to the hand because it's so true. It all it becomes a nice cohesive hand.
Tight knit,
It's
a
hard
tight
to
knit group,
explain.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and um, but I love being out on the creek
Mm-hmm.
in southwestern Ohio. You can do actually pretty good at the bottom reach of the first glaciers. You can do pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Southern Indiana, just south of Indy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I go there and I usually do pretty good on a couple of
Do you?
permissions. We finally call our creek No Tell 'em Creek. It's over yonder. Uh,
Oh yeah, because the moment you say it, man, you're gonna have crowds, right?
well,
Crowds
the
or
good
worse,
thing
heat.
about yeah, that's one bad thing about club claims. The GPAA, the Gold Prospectors Association of America, they have a couple of great chapters in Indiana. They have a couple, two or three good chapters in Ohio. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
both states have a really good prospecting community and whole, and we all collaborate with each other. I'm a member of the Buckeye chapter,
Uh-huh.
and the GPAA for a yearly membership, you get this book
Oh,
full of
okay. Uh-huh.
properties throughout
Oh,
throughout the
wow.
United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it does include pay to dig areas, and it includes um, some open to the public, but for a lot of it, the club actually leases the property. And like the Swank West property in Ohio, the Buckeye chapter takes fabulous care of it. And for
Mm-hmm.
80 something dollars a year for a membership, you go camping once somewhere and you've paid for it just in the fee
Yeah.
to go
Oh, yeah.
camping.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on a beautiful river, like the Clear Fork River, nice brown trout fishing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we have a really nice relationship with the Mohican Fly Fishing Association.
Uh-huh.
We allow them to come on our lease,
Mm-hmm.
park on the property. Um, since in Ohio, the property boundary is either you own the whole river or stream or to the center of it a lot of time, and
Mm-hmm.
you own the ground underneath it. It's not like in Washington and California where the state owns the ground and everything. The
Yeah.
property owns it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you there's times where homework comes in play, you know. You need to
Of
know
course.
the local laws um,
Yes. Yes.
and regulations. But uh, that's out in Washington, I'm a little more secretive because there's more public land and people can
Mm-hmm.
access property a lot easier than door
Yeah.
knocking and obtaining permission like here in Ohio or actually paying a lease, a yearly lease on the property.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
uh, lot of your they're actually committing uh, trespassing, committing
Yeah.
trespassing laws if they come on these properties and try and sneak in a few pans, get the gold. But sometimes on club properties, I don't show much gold in some of my videos anymore because I've been on
Mm-hmm.
club claim properties and showed some of the gold I got there, and then members go, I know where they're working. And then they go there and you come back and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about crowds. I imagine every time you do let loose about one of your locations, man, you're likely to get a whole group of people, members or not members, that'll try to muscle in on it. I can only imagine.
It can
Got
happen, but um, now I do things a little different. So
mm-hmm.
that tends to happen a lot less now. But if like anyone out there, you're from the Midwest, if you want to go prospecting, I take it you're not far from Ohio and Indiana, from what you were
No, not
saying
really.
about the 1500 show.
Yeah, well,
Because I thought
I'm
you
just
said you
outside
went to it.
Indianapolis. Yeah, I'm just outside Indianapolis.
So
Been to the
you're
1500 many times.
okay. So you're like what, in Brown County or something like that?
No, no, no.
Are you like
I'm actually
anywhere
if
near Nashville?
no, no. I've been to Nashville 100 times. We're actually about 10 miles southeast of Indianapolis. It's a little town called New Palestine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know
But
where Brooklyn is?
Brookville,
Brooklyn on the White
Brooklyn.
Lick, East Fork White
Oh
Lick, I think it
no,
is.
can't say as I do. But what were you talking
I
about
know I've
earlier?
been um well just southeast of Indianapolis. I've been working a little.
Oh,
But
have you?
I forget the
It
rivers' names.
Yeah, it's probably not this close. Um, because Indianapolis is all of Marion County, right in the center of the state, and like I said, we're only 10 miles southeast of there. So it's and it's not. I wouldn't consider it a really highly populated area, but there's a lot of, and there's not a whole lot of. Although there is, a couple creeks, Brandywine's over there, Sugar Creek. Um, I'm not going to ask you any of the rivers you actually worked in Indiana because I don't want to steer people toward that. But
Well, down by Greensburg, I know it's
hmm
about an hour and a half hour southeast of you, Greensburg, Indiana, but
yeah, yep.
um, that place has some pretty good gold and really good fossils.
Does it
Um,
really? The fossils I
I
get, the gold I
and
never ever thought.
I
Just
love
never.
fossils. They're great.
Yeah,
I,
yeah. I
like
literally wanted to be an
that's
archaeologist
one.
growing up, so didn't go down that road though. I got another question for you, Flash in your pan. Um,
Sure.
you're talking about this great community, and I totally get that. I can so imagine it being exactly that. And what I've seen from treasure hunters, and I'm talking mainly about the metal detectors, is that they try to leave the area in better shape than they found it. Very much like the hunters that I've always run into, because I've been a hunter all my life. Is it the same in your community as well? Is that kind of a misnomer by the environmentalists? They think that you're just out there trashing stuff. You guys are really, um,
We
friendly to your
actually
environment, right?
do more to help the environment and fish habitat than um, than they'll ever want you to
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, that's always good
I
to know.
like there's a place we call Pirates Cove.
Hmm.
The landowner, unfortunately, a couple of bad eggs kind of wrecked it for the majority who went to this
Oh yeah.
spot. and it was a great spot. It's right downstream of Brooklyn, Indiana, and I believe it's the East Fork White Lick Creek,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not far out southeast of Indianapolis, and there's
Mm-hmm.
some good gold there.
Really?
But there's an old 1800s dump upriver, and every time it floods in the Banky roads,
Mm.
more trash gets taken downriver or downstream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I pulled out buckets and buckets of spark plug, TV parts, hypodermic needles, which you gotta be careful so you don't get
Oh
burned.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
whoever's brass zippers broke apart and rotted out in that damn dump, oh, I could wring their frickin' neck. Because you see a brass tube
Oh yeah.
in your pan, and you're like,
And it
woo,
looks,
yeah.
yeah, it looks
Oh
just like a nugget, I'm
man.
sure.
Oh yeah. It's a nice flash in your pan until you take a
Yeah.
closer look at it, and you're like, huh,
Damn it.
there goes all the wind in my sails. I thought I just had a picture. Uh,
Well, I've
no, I back to from camping, living in the woods, and
hmm
I always believe those who live off the land treat the land the best.
Oh yeah.
Loggers, uh,
Yep.
you name it. Uh,
I would say the people who spend their time, their quality time in the woods usually treat it better than those people who are yelling from the rooftops, that things are all screwed up. That's just my take on it,
right,
right?
right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. I always take something out.
Yeah.
I what you pack in, pack
Always.
out, and take someone else's with you.
Yeah.
Leave it
Take
better
what
than
doesn't
what you
belong.
found.
Exactly.
For the most
Exactly.
part, we refill our holes or fill in our holes. But like
Mm-hmm.
back to the lease property for our chapter,
Mm-hmm.
the fly fishermen have asked us to leave our holes.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
the trout need clean, cool water to
Mm-hmm.
survive, and they'll get down into those holes and
Yeah.
sit and get into colder water and calm water and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And uh, the fly fishermen appreciate us doing that. And from what they say, our stretch of the river that we lease is the best in the area for fly fishing
Mm-hmm.
for
I can
the
imagine.
the for the for the trout that's stocked there. Um,
Yeah, I
but
can
it's a
imagine. I
beautiful.
imagine.
Uh,
I imagine it's great for smallmouth bass too. They love those holes. They absolutely love those holes.
oh yeah, I'm sure. 'Cause
I
there's
I was never a big trout
um,
fisherman, but I did a lot of smallmouth river fishing for many years.
yeah, when I first moved out here, I did a lot of fishing and walking rivers, with my hip waders on.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes in my part of the state, it's pretty much all warm water, a
Mm.
lot of bass and smallmouth rock bass stuff. I
Yep.
have no
Yep.
trout in. I'm not far from Fort Wayne. I'm
Oh,
in
okay.
between Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Lima, Ohio. So off of 30.
Are you
So uh,
quick question, are you familiar with Shunk, Ohio?
with what?
Shunk,
I just
Ohio?
Shunk.
Shunk, Ohio. It's funny. One of my military buddies used to live in Melinta, Ohio, which you ought to know. It's just south of Toledo. Um, but on the way there, you drive through Shunk, Ohio, and I swear to God, it's the smallest town I've ever been to. There are two houses in Shunk, Ohio, and that's it. Smallest town. You know, you're entering Shunk. There's a house on either side of the street, and then you look back and you see entering Shunk. I mean, it's just that quick, man.
Don't blink, you'll pass it.
Don't
Yeah,
blink. That
there's
is
a few
literally
of
the.
those.
Well, listen, Flash in your pan. I've had a great time talking with you tonight. Tell the folks if you would, what time your Tuesday live show is.
Um, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we go
Okay,
live. The show must go
cool.
on.
I'm
Same
gonna go to your
time,
page real
same place.
fast. Yep, here's Flash in your
Hey,
pan.
you're not
Uh,
subscribed. You need to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
yes, subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss his videos and his shows, man. Well, like I said, man, I had a great time, and I was a subscriber. Oh, it's on a different account. Yeah. Yep, I am a subscriber, and I have hit that notification bell. I'm going to try to hit that at least watch the show because I don't have enough knowledge in your arena to join and talk, but I definitely want to watch it and find out
Oh,
more about
hey,
it.
come in. We love newbies. With the sourdoughs call you guys our greenhorns. Uh, hey,
Total greenhorn.
uh,
Total
feel
greenhorn.
free to join in chat. They'll welcome you with open arms. Jim, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yep.
and, and I'm Ed. So they'll open you with welcome arms. I have a great community during our live shows every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m.
Yep. Well,
And I try to have really good guests on. This week I'm having the YouTube creator Jared Lassick from Adventures with Purpose. He's out
oh,
of
okay.
Central Oregon, and he scuba dives and reclaims lost goods and cleans up trash.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a bunch of those videos too. That's intriguing as well. Of course, I'm not a scuba diver either, but that sounds interesting as hell. Some of the things they
Yeah,
drag up.
it's really fun. Yeah, he pulls up all kinds of stuff: phones, GoPros, trolling
Mm-hmm.
motors.
Oh yeah, the occasional
And he
ring, the
has an
occasional
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing what people lose in the waterways, and some cultures they would throw offerings into waters.
Yes.
Like the Celtic stuff would throw
Mm-hmm.
swords and stuff as
Mm-hmm.
offering to their pagan gods into ponds and lakes and stuff. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, they here in the Midwest, they were our most of the continent, I should say, or the world. The waterways at one time was everyone's highway,
Mm-hmm.
and that went
Mm-hmm.
from animal trail to footpath to wagon road to
Yep.
highway, and some of
Yep.
those are now freeways. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I found arrowheads while prospecting. That's as good to me
Oh
as
yeah.
finding a little picker. One
Mm-hmm.
in Greensburg, Indiana, a beautiful Adena Point. One
Mm-hmm.
like 5 miles away from my house here, just outside of Lima.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, another woodland area, Adena Point, off the Aglaes River.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
was stoked.
Yep.
I found a little gold and an
Mm-hmm.
arrowhead.
Bonus plan.
Yeah.
I imagine you find some. I imagine
Oh,
you find some lead bullets too, right? Civil War, perhaps?
Oh, that's a good sign. No,
Yeah.
I have
No?
yet to find any like Three Rainers Civil War bullets that
Huh.
I find when I'm on the gold, I'm on the lead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And lead is a
I would have thought
very good
differently.
indicator that I'm gonna get in the gold.
Yeah, I would have thought otherwise, but that's interesting. Well, listen, I think I'm going to wrap up this show
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Folks,
Oh,
subscribe to A Flash in Your Pan. What's that?
I
Make sure you
said I
subscribe
don't
to
mind.
Flash in
It's
Your
your
Pan.
show.
Well, it's getting late, and if I didn't have to help my boy in the morning, I would keep going. But we'll have you back on, man. This was a real interesting conversation, and like I said, I'm going to catch one of your Tuesday shows here very, very soon. And make sure, folks, that you go and subscribe and check that or hit that notification bell so you won't miss his show either. Flash and Pan, thanks again, man. I
Oh,
really enjoyed it.
hey, not a problem. I appreciate your open invitation to your audience to join you. And I was gonna
Thank you.
jump on it yesterday, but I'm like, hey, what the heck? I'm gonna pull the trigger. So I dropped a and pulled the trigger on, joined your Zoom group, and I really appreciate this forum you put out, Jim. I
Thank you.
see really good things for your channel. That 45 there is gonna grow to like 45K
I
and
certainly
beyond.
hope you're right, my friend. I certainly hope you're right.
I firmly believe live is so many people are getting sick of mainstream media
Yeah,
and they're looking for new sources of entertainment, and I believe live programming like yours and
mm-hmm,
mine
mm-hmm.
are the future of YouTube.
Oh
It's
yeah,
really
without
going to be
question.
a huge part of the YouTube community is
Without
live
question.
broadcasting.
And now, if we can only
Um,
get the live channel to catch up with that, we'll all be good.
yes, sir. Yes,
Wa-
sir.
Watch some of my old
Thank you
videos, you'll know
very much for
exactly.
having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. We'll talk to you again. Make sure you do come on again. All right.
Excellent. Thank you. I look
All right.
forward to it, Jim.
All
Have a
right.
great
Take
one.
care, my friend. That was Flash in Your Pan. Such a great guy. I'm so interested in that sort of prospecting or treasure hunting. It just intrigues the hell out of me, and one of these days I'm going to do it. Did you enjoy this video? Well, you made it to the end, so I'm going to assume you did. If you want to see where this takes us, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell right now so you don't miss out on future videos and guests. Also, make sure to comment, like, and share our videos to help us build this unique community. Thanks again for watching, and remember to always treat others as you want to be treated. See you live!